I'll be.
Good evening and welcome to Social Media Fridays on Monday, episode number 69. Each week we meet here to discuss what happened this week in the world of social media. With us tonight we have Edwin Jonk. Edwin is CEO of Idest Host in the Netherlands. You can find Edwin at idesthost.nl. Also, Masataki Wasa is CEO of WasaWeb Corporation. Masataki is also a top contributor on the AdSense and also the Google Plus Help community. And you can find Masataki at wasaweb.net. Social media dynamo and human resources specialist from New Delhi in India, Meher Bhagat has a website. I'm sorry, I have forgotten it. Masataki wants you to know that wasaweb.net is incorporated in the Caymans. And Tim Capper is CEO of OnlineOwnership.com. He's a conversion rate optimization specialist, proud to call himself an SEO, and you can find Tim at onlineownership.com. Okay, our first topic tonight, posted by Masataki Wasa, was an article on a young man who ended up getting roped in with fake identities, and yeah, he didn't do very well out of it. Any thoughts, guys?
Well, this is a case of a pure troll, if you like. A person who I think enjoys causing havoc. He doesn't have a particular religious or political beliefs, from what I've read. And it seemed that he wanted to cause trouble. He just wanted to essentially make other people angry and see what happens. But he's actually caused harm to other people. And I think that makes it a very serious offense. He may find it funny, or he might have found it funny. But there were real victims who had their lives turned upside down, as it were. So it is a serious thing. And unfortunately, he's not going to be the last of such trolls.
Yeah, just an example from the article. There was an artist that was destroyed by him, basically. He posted white power things about him, and that turned up in the search engines. And basically, this particular artist was associated with white power, and nobody bought his paintings. So that's really serious offense. Later on, he went crazy by stating that he was doing things for the Islamic State with bombs, and that's basically why he was arrested, because of the pro-Islamic State fake profile.
Well, I had to get these right whack.
Yeah, these people need to be stopped, right? The artist says he was bullied for more than 5 years, and his business was ruined by him. It has to be faster than 5 years, right? There needs to be something in place where people like Mr. Goldberg need to be stopped.
Yeah. Any other comments? Okay. enough time wasted on Mr. Goldberg. Here's a share from Tim Capper, which was posted by Edwin. And it was, what was it, regarding Google Plus mentions and reviews being posted in a normal search engine results page. Tim said that they've been gone now for a while, and so he doesn't believe this is a bug but intended behaviour. He said, where will this lead to? We'll just have to stick around and find out.
Yeah, well, the Google Plus page link has gone. The review link has gone. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. We'll have to see what happens. I find it rather strange because a user can't go and view or easily click to view a business's business page now. So what the game plan is, not entirely sure.
Maybe there isn't a plan. They just sit around snorting coke all day and think, yeah, wouldn't it be fun to do this?
Well, can you still get reviews for ads, right? You can embed them, right? The stars. When you buy ads.
But that would be appearing on in your own pages, rich snippets. Ordinarily, it used to be applied via Google pulling the information from your business page.
Okay. Yes, I mean, as of 5 weeks ago, I was firmly convinced that Google Plus was one announcement away from a sunset. Then Sergey Brin made a post on Google Plus, which was a first, or at least a first since 2013. And now maybe Google Plus is due for the scrap heap. But no. All right, let's move.
I think with the move from the 7-pack to the 3-pack, removing all the addresses, and now removing the links to the Google business page and the reviews, I think they're moving to a paid model for services provided by businesses.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things is what's the take-up rate of verification. I mean, people who are actually verifying their own local businesses. It's pretty low, isn't it?
Yeah, it's less than sort of, I think, around about 40%. This is the disconnect that this is the massive disconnect that they created by having all these different names, you know, places and places for business and all these kind of things. Businesses probably saw this little address and Google Plus page or whatever and review, but they never quite understood that where it came from. They just probably thought it was some Google thing. They never understood where it came from, that they could own it, that they could manage it. And yeah, I think the take-up is kind of around about 40% mark that have actually claimed and verified. I think we'll have a few more now that. Okay, let me get this wording right that they're doing. Any auto-generated business pages from the past are going to disappear. Any human-created, and obviously if they were human-created and not verified, then they were generally created in MapMaker, because a lot of businesses just think, oh, that's where I'm meant to go and, you know, add my business. So all the auto-generated are going to disappear, and they are no longer being auto-generated by Google. So I think they might actually have an uptake on verified, because literally millions of pages are going to be disappearing. And then I suppose the next time will be when a business types in the name, and they may not even realize, but they may see something missing in the SERPs and realize it was the actual little business link, the business page thing, and then they go, oh, where's that gone? And then they may, you know, do a little bit of research and find out that it's an actual business page. But crikey, with the amount of names over the years and you know, all sorts of things, yeah, I don't know. Or they may still go to MapMaker and create an unverified one.
Create duplicates. Hooray!
Yeah, so, yeah. Interesting.
So when we search these on maps, just a point, so when we search listings on map, I see closed and open, so we would not be seeing that anymore.
No, the closed ones, no. Those ones in there are, sorry, no, I'm talking about in the search results. The ones in maps, if something's closed or something's open, yeah, those will remain. But what they're trying to do is remove all the old auto-generated ones. But in your search results, if you typed in, for example, the business's name, you normally had a search result saying, you know, the name and the title description, and then underneath it there was used to be a small little link saying Google Plus page, and it either said view reviews, or if it didn't have any reviews, it would say leave a review or be the first to review, and there was a little link. Those are gone now. And now you just have the address with a little pin, like a little pin marker, and that's it. So it's very difficult to click through to a business page from search results.
Okay. That's about it for this one. Let's move along to number 3 on our run list, which is an announcement from Maher Bagat saying that Pinterest reached 100 million active users. But despite Pinterest's growth, it still lags behind its social networking counterparts. And I'm guessing Pinterest doesn't have Edwin Yonk, Tim Capper, or Jim Munro. Mr.
I think I'm there, but not active.
Any comments on Pinterest, guys?
New York Times stated that it doesn't have any, you know, social media counterparts or social network counterparts. But the reality is, Pinterest is like a pin board. You just come, pin, and move on. There's nothing extra that you could do apart from commenting. You can share, like, that's it. That's the only thing that you get on Pinterest. There's nothing if you have to compare it to a social network site. It's not. it's just another news bulletin board where you can have pins like you can have pins to buy as well. That's it.
Okay. Yes, it's never got me. What about you guys? Edwin, I heard you say that you've got a profile, and I think I have too. But I think I filled it in to have a look at it, and that was it.
I do have, but we don't use it much. It's just not a thing that is user friendly for us. We don't have a store that sells accessories, clothings, or so is. I mean, like it's I think typically for if you have a product, if you have an interest, you have a cooking as a passion, you can show that, you can share images. That's pretty much it. But that's the interesting part is that it has daily 24 million pins every day. That's amazing.
It is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and if your content is visual, it's worth it. I mean, it does provide decent amount of traffic to my site, um, and I like it. It's simple, it's neat, it's quite clear what you do. So I can see it growing further. It has sort of found its market quite cleverly, and I think now many people, have those pin buttons on their images and things like that. So I can see it growing further.
I think it's annoying when you see an image, say in Google image search, and you click on it and you get to the Pinterest page, and if you're not a member of Pinterest, you would only notice this, but they block the page off. They don't let you view the whole page unless you join up.
Yeah, that's annoying.
That is it.
Yeah, and of course there are issues that the original site may have traffic diverted, as it were, because Pinterest appears high in the image search results for the same image.
But that's same with but that's same with Facebook as well. You have to be logged in to view any post. If you go via a link or image on Google search images.
Yeah, I think it points to a general problem on Google image search. I think there are a few issues with image search.
Which I often encounter Facebook links and go to them, and I can read the whole page without logging in. I can't log in. I don't have an account. Anyway, let's move on to the next. What's this about? Flick through the best stories from your Twitter stream. If you use Twitter and love reading articles absolutely with no distraction shared by the people you follow on Twitter, then this app called Something is a must-have tool on your iPhone or iPad. And I seriously mean absolutely no distraction. It's a posting from Meher Bhagat.
Absolutely no distraction, And to be honest, I have to say I'm a big fan of this app now since I started using it, because it doesn't have any single button on the page, just the article. You can, just slide it left and right. That's it. And there's a, bottom button that you have to just slide up, and you can tweet it if you want to. That's it. That's the only feature this app has. It doesn't have a home button also on screen. And that's really amazing. Zero distraction.
Okay. I hope you guys have got some other items of agenda, because I think when I click this button, it'll be that time. No, another one. 23 annoying Facebook statuses you can finally dislike.
That ties in with another article I shared about Facebook introducing the dislike button, and I think this article was, taking a somewhat sarcastic take on how people would use the dislike button.
Okay.
Well, to be honest, Mark Zuckerberg isn't talking about the dislike button. He's talking about a button for set posts. So that's a little bit of a difference, no?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure how it's going to be implemented and what it's going to look like. But I assume that is the user going to be able to set that? And you can dislike this post.
Yeah, but he was talking more about emotions, right? If something is a sad story, most people don't want to like it because it's not likable.
Yeah.
They may appreciate the content, but it's not something that you would like. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So it's not a dislike feature.
Yeah, but it's still a binary, isn't it? You either like it or dislike it, however you might call it. It's positive and negative signal that you think it's good or you think it's bad. And if it's universally implemented, then trolls are going to have fun by massively downvoting, as it were, the post.
Yeah. The way I understand it is that there will be a different button, not a like or dislike button or thumbs up or thumbs down, but more a button to support something, right?
Yeah, no. So my personal opinion is that they should use range of emotions. You can even use emoticons and things like that. Happy, sad, confused, excited.
Yeah, more like an emotion thing.
Yeah. So if you have a bad news, then people can click on the sad button or the sad face, and say, "Oh, I'm sad for you." So I would prefer to see that, because if you have a binary system of like dislike, then there are going to be people who are just going to bully and troll others.
Yeah, but I suppose the next step is an LOL button. But if they introduced an LOL button, nobody'd type anything on Facebook.
Oh,
yeah,
I suggested the meh button.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure about LOL, because my I don't know, my pet dog passed away and someone mistypes lol, and
Yeah. Somebody's sharing, their grievance, and you cannot like or dislike. You can just make a single comment.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it's implemented. But if it's just a sort of like-dislike kind of thing, oof, Facebook will be in big trouble, I think. I think it has to be very careful.
I never liked the idea of having another button there. Instead of if I don't like something, I rather comment or just skip it. There's no need for a dislike button. Anywhere, in fact. I remember we talked about this last year as well. Uh, one of the platform was thinking dislike. That was Facebook itself last year, if I remember correctly.
Well, it is one of the most frequently requested features, I think, by Facebook users. So I think it's been in discussion a lot of times.
Yes, I can see it causing a lot of arguments.
Yeah, and Facebook still wants the data, right? Liking a sad post, that is pretty insensitive. So if they make it a different button, they have more data, right? And people might click on that or use that particular button, and they understand the contents better and have basically more information about the user. So I can see an argument why Facebook would like to have something more than just a like button.
Okay, will we move on from this one, guys? I think this one is definitely the last one. I wasn't expecting to get this far. No, we have yet another. Heavens above. Facebook has added a new advertising option. Michelle Deer originally shared. If you aren't aware, Facebook has added a new advertising option. Now you can purchase ads that have been viewed 100% in a person's newsfeed, meaning that they've been scrolled 100% from top to bottom. And also a partnership with Moat on video analytics.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Because now as far as I understand, it's mostly for mobile. So as an advertiser, you can now opt in where you know that at least the ad is being shown 100%, right? It's a full page ad on mobile, that is. So people really have to scroll to see the ad and scroll further to move from the ad. So you're almost guaranteed that the target audience will see your ad. If they pay attention, well, that's another thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're paying for impression, you obviously want the ad to be shown. Why should you pay for impression that's not seen? So I think it makes total sense.
Yeah, and on desktop, people are going blind, right? On desktop, you can also pay for views. But the problem is that people just go blind for advertisement. They know where they're located, and they don't look at it. And with this, it's just in your face. So well, it's pretty hard not to see the ad, right? And there was also a little bit of a video metric that Facebook shared. Was this week or the week before that? Because they now have autoplay. So they suggested that they were bigger than YouTube. Because if the video played 3 seconds, they count it as a view. It was quite funny.
One thing that isn't on our topic list tonight, and I thought it would be, but so forgive me if I don't have the story right, but Apple is about to offer software which will completely block ads. There are quite a few apps that do it, available from the Apple Store. And it's generally seen as a full frontal attack on Google's revenue base. What's your opinion on this one, or have you noticed it?
Yeah, I mean it to a certain extent is, and it's not just Google. You could argue that applies to other online advertisements for sites and services that rely on revenue from showing advertisements. So it's going to be interesting how that's going to play out. I mean, Apple, at least in the mobile section, is a very big player, and what it does makes a huge difference.
But this feature is for OS 9, right? If you don't update, you don't get this feature.
Yeah.
Or this app, right?
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yes.
Yeah, I read this article yesterday. It talked about with probably 23 million drop down in revenue for ads. There was a line there that said pretty much loss of revenue from ads after introducing this, because this has been running for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think ad blockers have been around for quite a long time, and to that extent, it's nothing new. The question is how prominent it becomes. If it becomes the default, for example, then you think, well, yeah, I mean, is that really the route Apple wants to go? Because it's going to disrupt not only other companies, but it's going to affect how content creation works in many instances. If people cannot generate adequate revenue through advertisements, there may be fewer creators providing content for free. Or people might start blocking iOS 9.
Yeah, and from the publishers, you also see trends that they move more towards promoted content.
Yeah.
For example, a review on Netflix is promoted by Netflix. The classic newspaper, right? You had the journalist. They wrote great content, great articles, and on the other hand, you had the salespeople that were selling the ad spaces. And if people are going more and more towards ad blockers, maybe that separation cannot be handled anymore, because every post has to be promoted by something, because the post has to be sold, right?
Yeah. The erosion of the editorial and adverts, that has been going on for a while, and it's not great. I mean, if you want to know if something is editorial content and what is advertisements, and then the native advertisements, advertorials, this constant blurring of the lines, I think, is not doing anyone any favors. Then people will rightly question: is this a news platform? Is this new news organization, media organization? Can we trust them to be objective when it needs to be. I mean, it's a very, very, very difficult world that we're heading into in that sense.
Yeah, around 16% of those in, sorry, let me read that again. 45 million people have already installed an ad blocker, up to 48% of over the last 12 months, who runs PageFair, an Irish startup that tracks ad blocking. That's 48% over the last 12 months.
And just to be
45.
clear, if you install an ad blocker, that doesn't mean you don't get ads, because the ad blockers get money from Google to show what was it, high quality ads. So you still get some ads, but a lot of them are being blocked.
Yeah, I mean, IO9 could do something similar. I mean, Google can come to an agreement with.
Yeah. It is a little bit of shady business, because you're pretty much going to Google and say, well, you're going to block your ads, but if you pay us, we open it for you.
Yeah, give us some P, so for taxing money.
Something like that. Yes. And if you talk to people about why they have an ad blocker, they go to those horrible news sites that are loaded with enormous amounts of ads. But if there is a normal publisher with normal advertisement, I don't see the problem, right? Just don't go to the websites that are loaded with ads. Go to the websites that are nicer.
Yeah.
Okay, have we covered this? I'm recording that as a yes. And we've actually covered this already, but we can cover it again. This is a quote: the dislike button has come to Facebook. Probably hundreds of people have asked about this, and today is a special day because today is the day I actually get to say that we are working on it and are very close to shipping a test of it. I imagine this is Daniel Zuckerberg. However, he went on to say he did not want it to be a mechanism with which people could downvote others' posts. Instead, it will be for times when clicking on like on sad posts felt insensitive. Let's see how good the nature is. Don't count on that. Peggy K said, interesting. People tend to feel strongly about thumbs down -1 as an option. And I've seen that used as a way to effectively troll or harass on YouTube and GPF. What's GPF?
Google Product Forums.
Ah, right. And Peggy said, but maybe Facebook's implementation won't become a problem. I think we've got time to cover this again. Go ahead, Mr. Tucky.
And Edwin wants a meh button. But I think we covered the topic now.
Yeah, I would like to add another fourth button that says cry for help, please. Seriously.
Well, these buttons are more like the buttons on inbound.org and Reddit, aren't they? Like downvotes and upvotes. And I think in that context, they're fine because they don't attach a person to the vote. And so then it becomes less personal. But getting a dislike on a statement that might, as Mr. Tucky said earlier before, I think if your cat got run over, how would you reinterpret a dislike? Someone that dislikes cats? I don't know. Well, we'll move on from this one. We did cover it earlier in the earlier one. Okay, I'll record that. And we've reached the end of the posts posted in the Social Media Fridays community. Anything you guys would like to add before we go off air? All right. Well, look, if you're still watching, thank you. Your interest in what we do makes what we do worthwhile, and we appreciate that. I'll place a link to this hangout in the Social Media Fridays community, and we'll be back at the same time next week to do